Good afternoon. This is video number 3 for LATTC GIS final projects utilizing workforce and economic development geodatabase to try to understand our colleges and higher education institutions. How can they provide better services to our community? So I'm going to open the software ArcMap GIS 10.2. And over the years, as you saw from previous videos, we have put together a series of layers of information of what we believe provides a holistic approach to learning what is around colleges and higher education. So I'm going to go here. Basically, these are my recent maps. And the whole idea is that the student becomes familiar with just operating a table of contexts, a series of taxonomies. What you're seeing right here as a default is a series of information that the MTA gave us. So if you actually turn off the transportation, all those lines disappear. And under transportation here, we have metro lines, green line, God line, stops, bus stops. And the assignment for these maps is for the students to be creative and say, well, what does it mean when I have access to all this information about nature, all this information about the built environment, including how do we govern it, all this information about education, providers, attainment, who graduates, who completes, who is around our educational institutions. So for example, students at existing community colleges, that will show us, let's say, turn on. These are called parent-child relation, turn on education, education population assisting, and then Hispanic, and then you turn it on. And basically that's giving you a map of the amount of Hispanic students attending community colleges, right? So we can bring this down. Then here under economy, you have lifestyle, health, in businesses, demographics. So what I turn on for education, great question, I turn on students assisting community colleges, Hispanics younger than 18 and 19. And why do we want to do this? Because many times, as you know, now things are becoming very quick and fast, and say the federal government has some money for students, Hispanics between 18 and 21, and there's some funding. Now, by the time you get the data, it will be way too slow. But if a higher education wants to act more agile, you will say, okay, let's send some direct marketing to all these areas because we know we already have students that are already coming to our colleges. Not that we need to enroll or they don't know our These students are already coming to our colleges. So the next thing here, well, let's also see how that relates to trade tech. So really quick, we'll turn on also as a provider. Let's turn on trade tech. So we know kind of where trade tech is. And then, as what happens sometimes, even you have that turned on by college, trade tech, even if you do it again, you do not see it because it's behind the maps. So one thing you could do here under education, this one you can make it, you can change the transparency of the layer so you can see right here under display, make it 50%, and now you can see trade tech behind it. So we want to now zoom in, and then very quickly, what is this map? And it's kind of interesting. I don't know what that white part is. I think this is probably divided by census tracts, but what it's telling us is that in these polygons, there's already this many Hispanic students that are already enrolled into one of our 9 community colleges. So if you want to do a quick marketing campaign, or if you want to say, you don't even need to enroll them because they're already coming to our colleges. So that's one map in itself. Now you could also say, well, what about, if you want to connect it to other kinds of information. You can say, well, what about if I want to know businesses, because this grant tells you to have carpenters, let's say. This grant wants you to trigger existing community college students that are Hispanic between 18 to 25. And we want to help them start some kind of customized cabinet making, wood shop kind of services to our communities to do kitchen cabinets, right? And there's all this money at a federal level to do digital fabrication. So you go here under businesses, we have fitness, we have construction, we have carpenters. So let's see how many businesses there are around Trade Tech that are already, and it's kind of thinking it could be here. I know it's in there. So businesses, oh, you gotta turn on the layer. So that's something that happens to me. So economy, businesses, okay, we don't want taxes. We only want to help. Maybe we don't need to create new businesses. We can just help some existing carpenters that already have their businesses around our area, and they probably don't have money for digital fabrication, or they don't have enough employees. So very quickly you can say, oh, look, there's a lot of Hispanic students coming to Trade Tech. There's a lot of carpenters. How can we partner with them? So then, or you might find that if you turn this off, right, and that there's not a lot of carpenters around here. So maybe you have to create local businesses. But if there's some already existing, you can do it. So this counts as a map, right? This is one of your maps. You go here under view map, layout view, right? And here you want to insert your, notice here you have your legend. You can actually zoom in so you can see what you have. You already have a legend. Hispanics, a student assisting community colleges, carpenters, but it's outside your frame, right? So this is gonna be kind of a hard one. You can probably choose these, move it a little bit to the right, and then move this one here. This legend you just deleted. And it will be kind of this is too long, student assisting community colleges. Well, you can probably move this one here. So that's why maps at the end look like pieces of art, right? Or another thing is that you can also minimize this one, right? So maybe as long as it doesn't cover you can still see what you're trying to communicate. Okay, so now now we don't want to call it farmers market, right? So we want to change that to Hispanic students assisting and available carpenter and businesses for carpentry. Around LA Trade Tech, yeah. So once that you have, so basically you have this table of contents that you already turn on and turn off the layers you want. So you don't want to come back, let's say that your client says, oh, you know what, I don't like blue, change it to red. So if you don't save the skeleton, you will have to turn on and off the layers that you chose to create this map. So what you want to do, you want to save this map. So save as, and you want to save it here as a map. And you want to say LATTC Hispanic students and business carpentry. That way, if your client wants to change something, and notice how all of these I have it under R3, Spring 214, 341, Final Maps, and I'm going to save it. So here you're saving the skeleton. Then here you can export it, and now you're going to save it as a JPEG. See, these are all the maps that you guys, because we have done this all together. You're welcome to use any of these maps for your final exam. And as long as you can explain it, it's yours. All right? I am telling you, this is not simple. You guys been exposed to, with your 2 certifications, your case studies, as long as you can say that you were exposed and you understand this geodatabase, that you understand taxonomy, that you understand the complexity, you are at the cutting edge of the nation. Yesterday, Tech LA, all the mayor's office deputies were there. They have the eye on this kind of thinking. This is totally cutting edge. So as long as you guys can embrace it and understand it, this is an A in my class. Okay? And I know because you guys have your certification, so I know you know the software. This is just the concept of understanding databases with purpose and meaning. So now we're going to go save. So now we have it as a JPEG. We have the skeleton. And now we're going to save it as a PDF file. And you guys have access to all this data. And also you have this video that you're watching. So here you're going to go here, export map. Now I'm going to save it as a PDF with a nice resolution. So you want to save it as both because JPEG, you might want to put it inside a PowerPoint presentation. PDF, you might want to just send it to your client. And the skeleton, in case your client wants to change it, right? So now we save it all. We close it, and this concludes video 2. That's it. Let me just close the video. Thank you very much, and make a beautiful map.